weren't racing, were you, chaps?
No.
Of course not. What's the plan today, Professor?
We're going down to the secret underground test track.
Game on, JB. I hope you like the smell of burning rubber.
I hope you like the taste of dust.
Now, I want to emphasize one thing clearly. There'll be no racing today, chaps. I've only just recovered from the last time.
And from the 1995 season, here we have one of Nigel Mansell's original moustaches.
So, gentlemen, today we'll be testing the new super soft tyres, a new set of waterproof overalls, champagne resistant.
Wow, what the hell is that?
Oh, pay no attention to that. It's just something the teams have been asked to test out to make next season more competitive. And, of course, we'll also be testing the new car.
M, there's only one of them.
Oh, we only need one car to test the modifications, Lewis. Heads or tails?
Heads. Best of three?
Let this one go, mate.
Now, we fitted new hydroplated coach pins with subretinal handling compensation. How does it feel?
Amazing. Feels fantastic.
This is awesome. Love it. Woohoo!
Marvelous. What the... Oh dear, it's happened again. Lewis, you do realize what's going to happen to those missiles, don't you? Right, let's call it a draw, shall we?
Yeah. Woo. Nice race, man.
Got anything else we can test?
Sorry. Oh. Are you seriously going to the Premier like that?
What do you mean, mate?
Oh, you look like you just stepped off the beach. You're not going to shave?
Shave? This is my look, man. This is how I roll.
Do be serious, gentlemen. There are more important matters to attend to than your personal grooming.
And from his victorious 1976 season, here we have James Hunt's original jockstrap.
Pretty straightforward affair today, just running through a few safety features. Nothing hair-raising.
You're not going to join in, then?
Very amusing, Jensen, but safety's no laughing matter. Now, the first thing I want you to test are these new G-force suits. Thank you, Charlie. You'll notice that the pressurization should counteract the effect of the... Jensen, are you tweeting?
Might be.
Well, I suppose that demonstrates the suit's work anyway.
Mate, your beard slipped.
Oh, thanks, man.
Do pay attention, chaps. Right, let's move on to the car. This year, we've brought in a number of safety innovations. We've started by improving the... Do be careful, Lewis. There are some significant alterations.
Like what?
Well, for example, the button that used to work the DRS now activates the... ejector seat. Perhaps I should have mentioned that before. Ah, I see you're testing the new automated fire extinguisher unit.
That was wicked, man. Mate, I see you're rocking my beach look. And I see you finally decided to shave.
Aren't you chaps due at a premiere soon? Well, you can't go looking like that. Hit crew!
Cool. Sick.
2.8 seconds. Not bad, chaps.
Morning, Professor.
Ah, Jensen, Lewis. 0.4 of a second early. Excellent.
So what are you showing us today?
Today I'm going to show you the future of Formula One.
What, robot drivers? I am Jensen Roboton. Lewis Hammerbot.
Very amusing, chaps. But what I'm going to show you is top secret. On no account must it ever leave the building.
And here we have just a few of the spare Ks from Mika Häkkinen's name.
I'm about to show you the car for the Formula One season in 2020 and beyond. First, you'll need to put on these special helmets. They allow the driver to control the car by thought, as well as having an augmented reality display, providing a complete analysis of track conditions and a rundown of rival drivers. The car uses a revolutionary new lubricant that we've developed with our partners over at Mobile One. By spreading to a thickness of 1 micron, a single drop will last an entire season.
Cool.
Ah!
Woohoo! Yeah! Woohoo!
Gentlemen, we haven't spent 5 years developing this so you can play skidsies. Ah, good. I see you're testing the inbuilt airbags. Now, the car is powered by a revolutionary new engine no bigger than a sugar cube.
Wow, that's the engine.
No, this is a sugar cube.
Oh.
The engine is here. Now, the car.
It hasn't got any wheels, mate.
It doesn't need any, Jensen. It floats. Now remember, Lewis, the car is thought-controlled, so whatever you do, don't think about racing.
What was that you said about nothing leaving the building?
Good heavens, he's heading straight for Sweden.
You better take over, Mike. I think I've just seen a flying bar of soap.
Oh dear, there's only one thing for it. We're going to have to fire up Vodafone McLaren Mercedes 1. Jensen, do you think you can catch him?
And here we have a vintage Formula One crash helmet made from genuine Harris tweed.
Imagine doing 160 miles an hour wearing that.
I've got the need for speed, man. Not the need for tweed.
Those guys must have had ball bearings of steel. No gadgets, no computers, no testing.
Gentlemen, there's a time for testing and a time for racing.
So what are we doing today?
Racing!
You sure about this, Ed?
Quite sure, gentlemen.
Woohoo! Cool.
What's going on?
You are having a laugh, mate.
Now, as you may have noticed, your cars have both been fitted with limiters.
You call this racing?
I call it test racing. You can race, and I can test. Perfect.
You can't be freaking serious.
I've never been more fricking serious in my life, Lewis. Now, please press button S on your new steering wheel.
At the end of the chicane, turn left.
You've added a sat-nav?
Oh, it's so much more than that.
Well done. You're doing really well, Jensen.
You'll notice the motivational assistant automatically senses when you need pepping up.
Driver energy levels low. Dispensing nourishment.
That needs a little work.
Nice. Now my car smells like a sausage.
Chill out, man.
Chill out initiated.
I like that.
Well, let's make things a little more challenging, shall we? Isn't this ingenious?
Yeah. Now how do I turn it off?
Must be this red button.
Don't touch that. That's just an experimental reverse gear.
So, does that have a limiter on it too?
Of course not. Ha! Why on earth would anyone put a limiter on a reverse gear? Of course.
Woohoo! This is wicked! I may never go forwards again.
Oh dear, it's happened again.
Caution. Vehicle reversing. Caution. Vehicle reversing.
Nigel, time to deploy the traculator, don't you think? Right, chaps. Time off to lunch. Good luck getting out.
Yeah, engineering is important, but at the end of the day, it's about the driver, not the car.
True. The great drivers always rise to the top. Wouldn't you agree, fellow world champion?
Yeah, you could have put Senna on the lawnmower and he'd still find a way to win.
Oh dear, the lift seems to have broken.
Let us out! We've got a race to get to!
Patience, Lewis. To be a great driver, sometimes you have to think your way around a problem.
What do you know about driving?
You may not know this, gentlemen, but I was a driver once.
Uh-oh, he's going to tell us a story.
Oh, yes, I had my shot at the championship. It was Brookwood in '62, but that year I was beaten to the title by a young German called von Richtmacher. Victory was cruelly snatched from my grasp.
Fascinating. Now about this lift.
Maybe I can hotwire this thing.
I know what you're thinking. I must have been bitterly disappointed, but I did have another shot at the title in 1975. Once again, I was foiled by von Richtmacher. My German rival was making me look like an idiot.
Right. How you doing, Lewis?
Not happening, man. I ain't gonna fit through this hole.
But I did have one last shot at the title. It was the early '80s. I was no longer a young man, but I had a certain sophistication. I knew this was my last chance to beat my rival, so I made damn sure I'd win.
Tell me you didn't mess with his car.
Of course not. I'd never do that to a fellow racer. But let's just say he had a little trouble getting to the race. He got stuck in a lift. With a little help. And that, gentlemen, is the value of engineering. Now, I believe you have a race to attend.
Respect, Prof.
Awesome.
Come in. Ah, gentlemen. All ready for our important guest? Now, let's not have any tomfoolery today, please, chaps.
Or there'll be hell to pay?
Do try to be serious, gentlemen.
Sorry, you're not actually going to wear that, are you?
My bow tie? Absolutely. One mustn't appear improperly dressed in front of...
The Mayoress of Woking?
God bless this wind tunnel and the wind that blows in it.
May I present our two world champion drivers, Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton?
Why do I have to hold the hose?
Go with the flow, bro.
Now, Mayoress, we've prepared a little demonstration. This is what we technicians call a graph.
One assumes this displays the parabola of the drag coefficient, does it?
Well, yes, it does.
Get off my nose, man!
And are you able to activate the DRS from here?
Naturally, ma'am.
You're off my nose, man.
I had no idea you were such a fan.
Yes, one enjoys a good Grand Prix as much as the next mayoress. I also like monster trucks. Do you?
Love them. Not now, Terence. Can't you see I'm busy?
What happened to those two silent racing gentlemen?
Would you excuse me a moment? Oh dear, it's happened again.
What the?
Ah, gentlemen, the professor has been giving me a most entertaining presentation.
Oh, has he? I'm sure he'd want us to continue.
Mom, would you?
Oh, thank you. Love to.
Don't be shy, Mom.
Righty-ho.
That should do it, milady.
Yeah.
Slightly awkward.
Thank you, gentlemen. Most revealing.
Oi, Lewis, kyo wa nani o suru tsumuri kana?
いや待って、日本語がわからないから。
Ah,そうか.
Konnichiwa, chaps. What do you think of the new facilities?
Spacious.
Now, let's get down to our preparations for the Grand Prix. There are a couple of changes to the new Japanese circuit. Let me just switch tracks from the last Grand Prix. Now you'll notice there's a new chicane after turn 12, and they've had in a couple of rather amusing corners this year.
M, who's driving?
Yeah, and how come he's got perfect lap times?
Allow me to introduce you to the McLaren Project 4 Robot Test Driver, or MP4 RTD1 for short.
Snappy name.
He has an onboard analysis unit that collects data and makes adjustments in real time. He actually learns as he drives.
Greetings, Father.
I didn't program that.
Come on then, Nico Rosbot. Let's get racing.
What is racing?
The robot wasn't designed for racing, he's a test robot. So, let's get out on the track. Now, chaps, RTD1 will show you the perfect line around the new Japanese circuit. All you have to do is follow him.
Ignore team orders, JB?
Shall we? I'm starting to wonder if this was such a good idea.
Racing. Racing. Racing.
Not bad. Game on.
Go on, my son!
Racing. Racing.
RTD1? RTD1! Stop! Stop!
Racing.
Oh dear!
Prof. M?
Father.
Speak to us.
Say something boring.
Oh dear, it's happened again. I suspected it would. That's why I stayed back here in Woking and sent along my robot avatar, MP4 RPM1. It's all right. I'm okay.
Is there anyone here who isn't a freaking robot?
LOL.
I quite like you, RTD1.
Nick de Vries, star of the McLaren Young Drivers Program. Nick? Nick?
Hi, Prof.
Ah, sorry, of course. There you are. I see you're admiring our Hall of Fame. Perhaps one day you'll join our list of McLaren champions. Prost, Senna, Hunt.
Louder.
Hunt! And of course, Mr. Jenson Button.
Cool. Can I meet him? Can I?
He's doing some charity work today, so he's not around. But his car is.
Whoa. Can I drive it? Can I?
I'm afraid you have to be this high to go on this ride, Nick. But don't worry, you're going to do something just as exciting.
Really?
4 thrilling hours of white-knuckle driving theory. So the combined effects of the downforce and the DRS will cause a 0.2 deviation from the apex of an average corner. As I can demonstrate with an analysis of one of your last go-kart races. I knew you wouldn't want to miss this, Nick. Huh?
Whoa!
So, Nick, what do you think you did wrong on this corner? Correct! Absolutely nothing.
Whoa! Cheeseburger, please. Thanks.
Golly, I've been talking for hours. Do say if you want a break. No? Good lad.
Ah, the McLaren Young Drivers Program, I presume. Excuse me, madam. There's something I have to sort out.
What do you think, Nick? Are you cut out to be a McLaren driver? Nick? Think?
Sorry, Professor. Just taking everything in.
Good lad. For a moment I thought you were miles away. It really is nice to have such a well-behaved student. Ah, Jensen, have you met Nick de Vries?
Yeah, we've run into each other. Nearly.
You'd better watch out, Jensen. He'll be driving your car before you know it.
Ready for another fun day in the lab?
Yeah, he's probably going to have us testing batteries.
Ah, chaps. Now, we have a full schedule today. But before we begin, I just wanted to run something past you. As you know, the teams take it in turns to lay on the entertainment for the post-race party.
How could we forget?
Especially after last year.
And what is it with the KRT1 extrusion manifold assembly? What's that all about? Is this thing on? Slightly awkward, but this year is going to be different. We've thrown a little something together for the Indian Grand Prix that I'd like you to take a look at. Hit it, Charlie. What do you think?
Yeah, great, cool. But aren't we doing the after party for Brazil?
Charlie, would you check my diary, please? Oh dear, that's happened again.
I'll get the maracas, shall I? All right, Prof.
So what are we doing today?
Well, today I've invited along an old friend. I believe you know Mr. Hackenen.
Mika!
Wicked.
Oh, the flying Finn.
Hello, boys.
So we're racing against Mika?
Mr. Hackenen's not here to race. As a former karting champion like yourselves, he's here to promote the new McLaren go-kart.
Oh, great. So you brought us all the way here to promote some go-karts?
Yes. I'm particularly proud of my new impact-resistant doors. Make sure you get some good shots of those, won't you, Freddie? Right, well, I'll leave you chaps to it. Now, don't do anything silly, will you? I know I can trust you, Mika.
You know, Mika, you used to be a great driver.
Thanks, Jensen. But now I'm retired. Most of my driving is done on the golf course.
You mean you really don't want to race anymore?
I have my 2 world championships, Louis. I'm happy with that.
You don't want to feel the rush?
Okay, I'm coming out of retirement. Keep up, boys!
Huh?
I'll take care of this, Freddie.
the fence!
It worked on Schumacher.
He really is the Flying Finn.
Damn, that felt good.
You still got it, man.
I never lost it.
Ah, excellent. It appears to have gone rather well. Did you get some nice pics, Freddy?
Hmm? See you, Prof.
Marvelous.
Run.
They were only supposed to show the ruddy doors off. Hello there, young Nick.
Hi, Professor.
Now today I have something very exciting in store for you.
Don't tell me. Another one of your lectures.
Heavens no. The science of engineering isn't all about dry theory, you know.
So what am I doing? Watching paint dry?
No. That's the job of the bodywork finishing supervisors. All right, chaps. No, Nick. Today you're going to put what you've learnt into practice. Out on the track.
No way.
Yes. Prepare yourself for the ride of your life. Okay, Nick, you'll notice as you put pressure on the accelerator, the rev count rises and the torque of the engine is transferred to the wheels. Incredible, isn't it?
Great.
Steady.
Any steadier and I'd stop.
Don't worry, I'm here on the dual controls in case things get out of hand. Now, let's try an overtake. Easy, lad. You don't have to go fast to appreciate the beauty of the engineering. Steady. And well done, lad. Now, we're coming to a fork in the road. I think you know which way to go. Let me help you. Ah, nicely handled. We're getting a little fast, though, Nick. Nick? Dear heavens, where's he gone? It's okay, Nick. Everything's up.
Oh dear, it's happened again.
It seems to have sorted itself out on its own. Excellent.
Thanks, Professor. That was the best lesson yet.
Yes, it was rather lively, wasn't it? Well, at least I hope I showed you that engineering can be fun. Now, if you'll excuse me, I just need a change of undercrackers. Gentlemen, Today's test will take place in the McLaren simulation module. It will require your complete concentration.
Huh?
Complete what?
Do pay attention, chaps. What happens in the simulator can be highly significant for next season. Please fasten your seatbelts and ensure seat backs and tray tables are in the upright position. We'll be travelling at a height of approximately 4 feet. Please turn off all electrical devices and mobile phones.
Why do they always say that? I don't know.
Curious. Sorry, chaps. Slight glitch in the system.
Cool. Hey, this is not cool. Huh?
Why have we stopped?
I think we're buffering.
That doesn't sound good.
Well, Lewis, what do you think? You're gonna have to make your mind up soon.
I think I may have to take this one upstairs. Huh? Mr. Dennis? Sorry to,
Ron Spitty! Hi, Cosworth. What is it?
It's the drivers, sir. They're stuck in the emulator.
Oh, dear, Em. It's happened again.
Yes.
Well, just turn it on and off again.
Well, there is a 20 to 80% risk we may lose some data.
What do you mean, data?
The drivers, sir.
Well, I'm a busy man, so let's get on with it.
Get on with it!
I can see your bits, mate.
It's pronounced bites.
Chaps?
Whoa! That was freaky. Lewis, are you all right, mate? You don't look yourself.
Hola.
This might work out rather well.
You weren't racing, were you, chaps?
Of course not.
My head looks massive.
Yeah, I must say, I think I look like a big guy from Incredibles.
What the hell's my walk?
We based it on that shit.
Shaves his stubble.
Yeah, that's funny. We have to put Nigel Mansell's moustache.
Clearly, let's go for Mansell's moustache.
Right, we've got Hunt's jockstrap, we've got Mansell's moustache.
He's then going in as a sausage roll. Yeah, closes down as if it's a sausage. Yeah, the sausage.
Feeling pretty fast today, Button.
With the greatest respect, teammate, you will shortly be eating my rubber.
Hey, Em, what's with the heat seekers?
Oh, pay no attention to that. That's just something we've been asked to test out to make next season more competitive. Yes.
Could be interesting.
So we'll just do one to start with, which is just to practice, just to warm up the voices.
Can I say, what the hell is that? What the hell is that?
By the way, you just said frickin' in the sentence before. Did you notice? You did.
Yeah, he said frickin', but he doesn't say frick. Yeah, don't say frick.
Oh, okay, I see.
And I said frick in my life.
And action.
What's the plan today, Professor?
We're going down to the secret underground test track.
Game on, JB. I hope you like the smell of burning rubber.
I hope you like the taste of dust.
Now, I want to emphasise one thing clearly. There'll be no racing today, chaps.
Okay, cut.
Do you really speak like that when you're putting that on? Because it's such.
I'm not putting it on. Yeah, no, not really.
That's proper. It's literally just like Q, isn't it? It's amazing. Yeah, it's really good.
Do be gentle with it, Lewis. This may be the finest piece of engineering ever produced by McLaren. It's almost perfect. At the moment, there's no way to stop the damn thing.
Great, excellent. Let's try another episode.
How does it feel?
This is awesome. I love it. Woo! Marvellous.
Yeah, nice race, man. Got anything else we can test? Do that again. Yeah, nice race, man.
Got anything else we can test?
Cut. At the end, because you've been bouncing on space hoppers and you've been racing, you're a little bit more out of breath.
I'm fit, so I don't have any out of breath.
Just we need a bit of sound, you know.
I'll tell you what I'll be doing. Down, 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 down.
Today, I'm going to show you the future of Formula One.
What, robot drivers? I am Jensen Roboton.
I quite like that.
Okay, that's a wrap. Well done, boys.
The sound of success, the taste of fear, the smell of victory. Over the last 50 years, McLaren have known them all. The greatest drivers in the history of Formula One.
McLaren's 50th anniversary, eh? This should be a night to remember.
So who's hosting this prestigious event then?
I'll be rocking the mic tonight, chaps.
You are joking, man.
Indeed, I will be joking, Sergio. I have a couple of zingers right here. Oh,
whoops, that daisy.
There, come here.
50 years of racing. 50 years of McLaren.
And now, please welcome on stage today's stars of McLaren, Mr. Jensen Button and Mr. Sergio Perez.
Hola. Yes, yes, we're here. I know.
And your host for this evening, Professor M.
Just get the cards in the right order. Good evening, Oh, over there. So, how many McLaren engineers does it take to change a light bulb? Well, technically none, because here at the McLaren Technology Centre we use high-carbide pure tungsten filaments. not so much a joke as a fact. I'll do another one. Knock, knock. No? Okay, let's press on. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin our journey through the history of McLaren, the drivers, the cars, and all the statistics, which I'll be presenting to you over the next 4 hours.
4 hours of this.
Man, where are the emergency exits?
The McLaren brand began 50 years ago, and from the start it was a story of success.
Hold our dash!
Oh, good heavens, that's all I need. I'm sorry?
I'm down here. I said you're talking out of your tailpipe, Professor. You don't know the first thing about how McLaren started.
And how exactly would you know?
'Cause I was there.
Well, people haven't come to hear your story, sir. With respect, I have the stage, and I hold the mic. Chaps?
Aye, thanks.
Chaps?
As I was saying, the real story of McLaren began long ago, back in 1953. Hey, what do you mean end of part 1? I haven't even started yet.
Previously on Tooned.
Let's begin our journey through the history of McLaren. From the start, it was a story of success.
Hold our dash!
And how exactly would you know?
'Cause I was there. The real story of McLaren began long ago with a young boy called Bruce McLaren.
Whose original racing car is right here on the stage, ladies and gentlemen. A marvel of engineering.
It was a heap of junk! A tin can on wheels!
Oh, great. You again.
Of course, things were a lot different back then. For one thing, the McLaren Technology Centre was a tad smaller.
Holy shit!
And there were only 3 employees. Bruce, me, and a Kiwi called Russell.
She's carked it, mate. Oh, well, back to the drawing board.
To me, that tin box had as much chance of hitting 100 miles per hour as our Kiwi had of flying. But Bruce was determined to be a racing driver.
Oh, we definitely got it this time, mate.
Hold on, sorry. I'm not going to stand idly by and let you insinuate that Bruce McLaren was a failure.
Failure? The man was a genius. Because he knew you don't succeed without hitting a few bumps along the way. One day, he decided to take an unconventional approach to aerodynamics.
Oh, now we're flying, Russell! Russell! Oh, choice, bro!
He was the youngest ever winner of a Grand Prix, a title he would hold for over 40 years. So you see, that was Bruce's secret. He made you believe anything was possible.
Yes, well, I'm afraid that doesn't include people sitting on the exhibits, sir.
Hey, get your hands off me!
With pleasure. Now, who'd like to see a statistical breakdown of Bruce McLaren's racing career?
Or I could tell you all my Emerson Fittipaldi story.
Oh, nuts.
Previously on Tooned.
Let's begin our journey through the history of McLaren. From the start, it was a story of success.
Hold our dash!
And how exactly would you know?
'Cause I was there. Now, the one thing you need to know about Emerson Fittipaldi
is that he was a driver of enormous talent. In Brazil, his nickname was the Mouse, due to his uncanny resemblance to, well, a mouse.
He was no mouse. We used to call him something quite different.
Oh, did you? Well done, you.
Let me tell you, there was more to Emerson than met the eye.
Hey, good to see you, man. You're looking good.
Don't get me wrong. Off the track, he was a gentle soul.
You want me to sign those babies?
Who wouldn't hurt a fly?
Hey!
Oh. Yes.
But when he got behind the wheel, that was quite a different story. Emerson was no mouse. To us, he was the wolf.
Emerson Fittipaldi was a werewolf?
Cool.
All I'm saying is, he never raced on a full moon.
Well, of course he didn't. Nobody did. The races were held in the daytime.
When he heard the sound of that engine revving, it unleashed a wild beast within him.
Sorry, everyone. I couldn't resist.
As soon as the flag went down, he became an animal. It was one of the sport's deepest, darkest secrets. But the second the race was over, he was a mouse once more. The only clue to his true identity was his massive pair of hairy...
Yes, all right, that's enough of that.
Sideburns. What do you think I was going to say?
This is preposterous. Emerson Fittipaldi is not a motor racing lycanthrope.
Prove it!
Well, as a matter of fact, he happens to be one of our guests tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Emerson Fittipaldi.
Hi, folks.
Now, Emerson, I'm sorry to have to ask you this, but are you now, or have you ever been, a werewolf?
I'm sorry to disappoint you guys, but I'm just a regular Formula One world champion.
Thank you, Emerson Fittipaldi.
Told ya.
Previously on Tooned.
Let's begin our journey through the history of McLaren. From the start, it was a story of success.
Boulder Dash!
And how exactly would you know?
'Cause I was there.
Our next driver is James Hunt, McLaren's first British champion. Though I'm not always sure his off-track activities gave our country a good name.
Codswallop! The man was a national hero. You see, there was more to James's off-track activities than you ever knew, Professor.
The name's Hunt. James Hunt.
I know who you are, James, and let me warn you, partying, womanizing and gambling have no place in Monaco.
Nice legs, Prof. Shame about the face.
And they're off and racing, or as they say here in France, something else. I don't speak French.
James, you're needed on a mission.
There's a race going on, dear boy. Can't this wait 57 laps?
I'm afraid not. An evil mastermind has stolen a precious microfilm. Your mission is to track it down.
Okie dokie.
England's depending on you, James. Me? I'm no bothered. I'm Scottish.
Damn it. Hedge mechanics.
Peekaboo. Oh man, I wanna be a spy.
Button. Jensen Button. I like the sound of that. Maybe I'll get lucky tonight.
Looks like your luck's run out.
Looking for this, Mr. Hunt?
Loudfinger.
The film and the race are mine, but at least you will have one last hot lap.
Phew, thought I'd almost lost my helmet. Thanks.
Where on earth is James?
What? This is impossible!
Unbelievable! Unbelievable! It looks like Hunter's prematurely ejected.
So that's why James lost the race.
Well, not exactly.
James? James, what the devil are you up to now?
Just doing an after-race debriefing.
Utter nonsense. James Hunt was not a secret agent.
Then why has this car got an ejector seat?
No idea, but let's give it a whirl, shall we? Excellent.
Previously on Tooned.
Let's begin our journey through the history of McLaren. From the start, it was a story of success.
Boulder Dash!
And how exactly would you know?
'Cause I was there.
Let's move on to the most successful driver in the history of McLaren. Living legend and close personal friend of mine, Mr. Alain Prost.
We are not worthy. We are not worthy.
Thank you.
Firstly, let me just say welcome back to McLaren. Or, as you would say in French, mon aspirateur sont de McLaren.
I think maybe you should stick to English, Professor.
Right you are, but if anyone's the professor, it's you, sir.
Oh, please, I was just lucky to have you as my chief engineer.
Au contraire, Alain. I was lucky to have such a wonderful driver.
Oh, Professor, you're too kind.
No, Professor, you are too kind.
Oh, guys, get a room.
From the moment he joined McLaren, it was clear Alain was a true connoisseur of racing.
1958, a great vintage.
An expert.
A V8, music to my ears.
And an intellectual.
Checkmate, my British chum.
Alain, is there anything you can't do?
Too kind, Professor, but behind every great driver is a great engineer.
Sorry to break up this love fest.
Good heavens, that's a health and safety nightmare.
But aren't you forgetting 1984?
The year I was Alain's personal engineer. What an honor.
Alain, do you remember the Dallas Grand Prix?
Call me unconventional, but I think a thinner tyre will give Alain the edge. Well, perhaps I made an error once.
And what about the British Grand Prix?
Call me a maverick, but I think a lightweight gearbox will give Alain the edge.
And the Italian Grand Prix?
Call me a genius, but I think we should recalibrate the whole engine. Well, it isn't all about winning, is it?
Wasn't that the year that you lost the World Championship, Alain?
By half a point.
Mon Dieu, he's right. It was you, you idiot.
Alain, my old friend.
I could have won a 5th World Championship if it was not for you, you English fool.
No! Ow! Oh, I was just trying to help. Oh!
Vous êtes un imbécile.
Ow!
Je vous déteste. Vous sentez comme un aspirateur.
Please, Alain, I am very sorry. Je suis très délicieux.
Oh man, that's gotta hurt.
Oh. Nice left hook, Alain.
C'est la vie.
Previously on Tooned.
Let's begin our journey through the history of McLaren. From the start, it was a story of success.
Boulder Dash!
And how exactly would you know?
'Cause I was there. Let's move on to the legendary Ayrton Senna, one of the greatest drivers the world has ever known.
Shook his hand, Donington 93. Haven't watched it since.
Of course, when you mention Ayrton, you cannot ignore his biggest nemesis.
Ladies and gentlemen, our new driver, Ayrton Senna.
Ayrton.
Elton?
Ayrton.
Eaton.
Ayrton.
Ayrton. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Senna.
You didn't hit it off from the start, did you, Professor?
Look, I never had any trouble working with Ayrton. Believe me, we were like chalk and, something chalk goes well with.
Cheese.
Hello! Now, let me tell you a little bit about driving Formula One cars. You see, in mine, right.
Now, my advice would be to take this corner quite carefully.
Seem to have a malfunction on the radio. check that out, would you, chaps?
Everyone knew that Senna was more than just a driver. He was a poet.
I am designed to win. There is no prize for second best.
Well, technically there is. It's called silver. Nothing to sniff at?
It's impossible to describe the euphoria of winning a race.
But if you had to, it's kind of like finding money in an old coat. Wouldn't you say, eh?
When I get behind the wheel, for me, there are no limits. There are no rules.
Mr. Senna is referring to metaphorical rules and doesn't condone any breach of FIA regulations.
Forget this.
You heard the man. No more questions. Sorry.
It soon became one of the greatest rivalries of motor racing history.
Look, I did my level best to keep things between us light-hearted.
Ron, come on. I cannot work with this idiot anymore.
I've tried to reach out to him, Ron. It was me that instituted Samba Day, but I'm getting nothing.
He's pushed me beyond my limit, which I did not believe was possible.
One of us has got to go. It's either him or me. Number 37, chicken nuggets. Let's move on to the next exhibit, shall we?
Wake up, mate.
Previously on Tooned.
Let's begin our journey through the history of McLaren. From the start, it was a story of success.
Boulder Dash!
And how exactly would you know?
'Cause I was there.
Our next champion is Mika Hakkinen. No one could dispute Mika's extraordinary powers, or indeed my own contribution to his success.
I could! Mika was extraordinary. More than you ever knew, Professor. For Mika's story is our strangest tale yet. It begins in a remote forest in Finland. From the beginning, it was clear there was something special about Mika. Oh, my leg. Immediately I knew this boy's special powers could be harnessed for a noble and worthy cause. Formula One. Maybe the cape's a bit much.
What about the pants? Okay, but I'm keeping the shiny suit, huh?
And so was born the Flying Finn.
Oh, no, you don't. You're not going to ruin this one, matey. Mika's the man who got me out of the canteen and back doing what I do best. Engineering.
Engineering? There was no engine. With Mika's powers, he didn't need one. And Mika's pit stops were legendary. But perhaps you didn't notice, Professor.
Good work, chaps.
Keeping his identity a secret wasn't always easy.
Meeker, you must feel like Superman.
Yes.
But with his superpowers, there was nothing he couldn't do.
Except cure baldness, eh, Prof?
Did you not suspect something when Mika told you his reasons for early retirement?
I must return home to my planet. Sisu.
Right. I don't know what they've been putting on your cornflakes, Mika, but the thing is, we need you here at McLaren.
Do not fear, Professor. There will be another.
Aikasi on koittanut. Maapallo odottaa sinua. Kimi.
I'm sorry. I've heard some preposterous tales tonight, but this one really takes the biscuit. You're actually suggesting that Mika Hakkinen was a flying super driver from another planet?
Ask him yourself, Professor.
Shh. Let's keep this our little secret, okay?
Previously on Tooned.
McLaren's 50th anniversary, eh? This should be a night to remember.
Boulder Dash!
Let's move on to our final McLaren World Champion. Look, I knew what you were going to say. What happened was a slight technical issue with the simulator. So, let's press on to our grand finale instead. Fittipaldi, Hunt, Prost, Senna, Hakkinen. They weren't just great drivers. They were so much more than that.
Yeah, a werewolf, a secret agent, a boffin, a guru, and an intergalactic superhero.
What I'm talking about is the nature of success. What does it mean? Can we even define it? Yes! If success is represented by X and effort required by Y, then this equation should...
You want to know what success is all about? It's about a Kiwi jumping off a shed. It's about knowing something's impossible and doing it anyway.
Okay, so if the Kiwi is represented by K and its trajectory by T, then...
You don't quite understand, do you, Professor?
What I don't understand is what you're doing here, sir.
I left something behind. The old timekeeper. It was Bruce's present to me. Sorry. Could you all give me a moment, please?
Somebody stop him!
You heard the man.
And it's go, go, go! And here come Button and Perez.
Shall we give these kids a driving lesson?
Darned elderly drivers.
Fantastic! This is the most exciting thing I've seen in 92 years. Which is incredible because I'm only 89.
Maximum attack.
Oh dear, that's happened again.
Ah, I wouldn't say that. They seem to like it.
Yes, well, you haven't exactly made it easy for me, have you?
Aye, but you didn't give up. And that's why you should have this.
Golly, you sure?
Well, it was mine for the last 50 years. Perhaps it's time it was someone else's.
Thank you.
Here's to the next 50.
Oh, well, back to the drawing board. Oh, now we're flying, Russell! Russell! Oh, choice, bro!
Hi, folks. You're looking good.
There was more to Emerson than met the eye.
I'm just a regular Formula One world champion.
The name's Hunt. James Hunt. Maybe I'll get lucky tonight. Okie dokie.
1958, a great vintage.
I think a lightweight gearbox will give Alain the edge.
Checkmate, my British chum.
Ladies and gentlemen, our new driver, Ayrton Senna.
For me, there are no limits. There are no rules.
From the beginning, it was clear there was something special about Mika.
Maximum attack.
Ha ha!
In 2012, McLaren launched something entirely new for the world of Formula One. A cartoon.
Uh-oh, he's going to tell us a story.
The fully CG animated show, Tooned, was a hit with fans. This year, McLaren, powered by Oscar-winning studio Framestore, are taking Tooned to a new level. In celebration of McLaren's 50th anniversary, the makers of Tooned have created a story which spans the decades. Welcome to Tooned 50.
Yes, yes, we're here. I know.
Back again this year is McLaren star driver Jenson Button.
Sorry, everyone. I couldn't resist.
The new series also features the character of McLaren's latest driver, Sergio Perez.
Hello, everyone.
Comedian Alexander Armstrong returns as the voice of McLaren's egghead, Professor M.
Oh, great. You again.
The series also features a brand new character, a mysterious old Scotsman known simply as the Mechanic with no name, based on some of the real-life veterans of McLaren and voiced by Hollywood actor Brian Cox. That's me. The story of the series focuses on different drivers in the history of McLaren, starting with the great Bruce McLaren himself.
If he said to everybody, all right, you guys all line up, we're going to march single file across the Sahara Desert, everybody would have followed him out the door.
Well, he was the man.
Then the world champion with the finest sideburns in Formula One, Emerson Fittipaldi.
It's about time you shaved those sideburns a bit shorter.
Part 4 tells the story of the off-track exploits of the legendary James Hunt.
Well, I witnessed all the girls around him. God, they're like bees to honey.
In Part 5, we tell the story of the other professor of Formula One, Alain Prost.
On the racetrack, he could be someone you wanted to stay away from.
Voiced by the great man himself.
He's a canny man, is Alain.
Part 6 tells a little-known story in the career of the genius that was Ayrton Senna.
If you look at some of the things that he did, you'd have to say it's magic.
The flying Finn, Mika Hakkinen, returns to voice his own character in Part 7.
Mika's approach to driving was get in it and go as fast as it'll go.
That felt good.
Part 8 brings us up to date with modern drivers Jenson and Sergio. Tales of the greatest drivers in the history of Formula One, driving some of the fastest cars ever built. Tune in to Tooned 50.
The big challenge for us for Series 2 of Tooned was to try and make something that was different from Series 1, to do something that was technically and creatively challenging.
One of the things we decided for this series was to make it much more cinematic. The whole thing's kind of scaled up, the style of it, the look, the music score, it's much more ambitious.
And to make it into something that worked individually as episodes, but also came together as, you know, a complete whole.
Last season was effectively a sitcom. This is a comedy film.
In Series 1, we had Jenson and Lewis up to various antics at the McLaren Technology Centre. Cool. And that was a lot of fun. This year it was Jenson and Sergio, and so they carried on in a very much central part of Series 2, as is the Professor. Alexander Armstrong once again brought huge character and humour to that role.
Je suis très délicieux!
We wanted to expand the whole scope of the series, and McLaren's 50th anniversary was a great opportunity to do that.
This was a celebration which enabled us to explore some of the other drivers, the McLaren champions.
To dig into the past, to explore these different worlds, the different periods, the cars, the drivers, the look of the era. We just realised very quickly that that would be a really exciting prospect.
Obviously the fun part was meeting all the drivers, recording them.
Is Emerson actually a werewolf?
Ooh.
Well, maybe. James Hunt. That was a challenge. A lot of James's behaviour was beyond the limits of family entertainment. It's not family entertainment.
Just doing an after-race debriefing.
We were lucky enough to get the voice of Tom Hunt, his son.
The name's Hunt. James Hunt.
Whose voice actually is extremely similar.
There's a race going on, dear boy. Can't this wait 57 laps? Oh, this is good fun.
We weren't entirely sure what to expect. As it turned out, he really was very charming. The script required him to build up a bit of anger.
I never do that. So that's the problem.
We wanted the Senna episode to be as if it was part of the Senna documentary that just didn't make it into the actual movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Senna.
So getting Bruno Senna to do Ayrton's voice, that was a massive privilege, really.
I think Ayrton would have thought it was really, really good.
With Mika, you never know what you're going to get.
We thought he'd have a bit of trouble with us putting him in cape and pants, but he was laughing constantly.
What about the pants?
What about the pants? What about the pants? We wanted to make a story about how did Bruce start out, that inspirational quality that existed from childhood.
Hopefully we've managed to capture the spirit of McLaren.
And combined it with the spirit of Tooned.
Ah, hello there. Mobile One have asked me to talk to you about the wonderful world of oil. Careful, Gerald. So, to spice things up, they've given me 3 assistants. Apparently, I'm not enough. From Great Britain, the Formula One world champion, Jenson Button.
All right.
From Mexico, McLaren's new Formula One driver, Sergio Perez.
Hola.
And from the world of NASCAR, 3-time champion, Tony Stewart.
Smoke.
I'm sorry?
People call me Smoke. That's my nickname. Just like people call him Jenson Button.
Hey, that's my real name.
It is? You're kidding.
By the way, my nickname is Checo.
They used to call me Tufty at school because I had a very hairy... that's not important right now. Let's get back on track. Right. Oil. Whoa! Thank you, Gerald. Not every time, though. Mobile One. Liquid perfection in a test tube. Take a look for yourselves.
Thanks, Prof.
But what is the essential, fundamental purpose of this astonishing elixir?
Uh-oh.
Well, when 2 moving parts come into contact, it causes friction. And friction creates drag, decreasing efficiency. So, in a properly lubricated environment, things will always run smoothly. But while efficiency is important, its fundamental purpose is, in fact...
Hey!
Good gracious! Do excuse me for a moment?
Yeah, baby!
There we go. Now.
Need some lube, Mr. Smoke?
Ooh, thanks, amigo. Whoa! Oops.
Well, I suppose that does at least demonstrate the importance of lubrication. So, that concludes part 1 of the wonderful story of oil. Oh dear, I've said it again. Since the dawn of time, mankind has had a desire to race. Even before man had perfected the wheel, he couldn't resist the urge to compete.
Yabba dabba! Ooh, well this sucks.
From the beginning, the desire to win those races led to advances in technology.
Boys, your history.
Huh? Soon, man was racing slightly faster vehicles.
Yield to Tonius Maximus.
Never! Eat my chariot.
You're kidding me. 2 horsepower? Why didn't we think of that?
Losers!
As mankind's ingenuity led to greater and greater advances, so racing entered the age of the sophisticated machine.
I say, old chap, I wonder awfully if you'd mind giving way.
I'm afraid I can't do that, old bean.
Why ever not?
Because I'm intending to kick your butt.
Jolly good.
Of course, with the advent of the motor car, racing was not always conducted as an official sport.
We got enough moonshine here to make us rich, boys.
It's a cops. Step on it.
Yeehaw! You know what? This is fun. We should turn this into a sport.
And so racing entered the modern era.
The technology of racing was always dependent upon the use of lubrication.
Sorry. As the technology of racing has grown more sophisticated, so has the lubrication that helps win races. And who knows where this amazing technology may lead us next. Autopod, home, please. Bye-bye. Today we're going to do some experiments with motor oil, with the help of my lab assistants. Sounds fun, doesn't it, chaps? In our first experiment, we're going to demonstrate how Mobile 1 keeps your engine nice and clean. But with an ordinary oil, the results are quite different. Over time, impurities can build up in the system, which need to be removed. In our next experiment, we show how Mobile 1 keeps your engine running smoothly. Let's see what happens if we try putting in an alternative motor oil. The increased friction causes irregularities and can even cause the engine to seize up.
Well, that experiment fell flat. Does anyone want a pancake?
Very funny, guys.
In this experiment, we see how Mobile 1 maintains its operating viscosity at a temperature of minus 20 degrees. How about the ordinary oil? Well, it doesn't. You can switch it off now, please.
So that's how you make a Mexican chili.
Well, I told you this would be fun. Right. In this final experiment, I'm going to show how incredibly well a synthetic motor oil performs at high temperatures. Now, hand me the Mobile 1. At speeds of up to 20,000 RPM, cooling an engine is quite a challenge. The exhaust gas temperatures from a racing car can exceed 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's hot enough to melt solid metal!
You're right. That was fun.
Goodbye. In every corner of this wonderful world of ours, people use Mobile 1 in vehicles of every size and shape. I want to show you some of them as we travel oil around the world. We start our journey in sunny London. Oh dear. Taxi!
Where to, Gov?
Very good, Jensen. Getting into character. Mexico City, please, my good man.
That'll be 40 large, mate.
Very amusing, Jensen. Here in Mexico, conditions are on the dusty side. Getting around can be quite a bother.
You're not from around here, are you, stranger?
Not really, no.
Then you'll enjoy this. Boys!
Very amusing, chaps. Don't overdo it, though. Taxi! Moscow, please.
Si, senor.
Excellent Mexican accent, by the way.
I am Mexican, you idiot.
Here in Russia, drivers have to contend with temperatures as low as minus 30.
Beware the brown bear, my friend, for he will eat the red squirrel.
Right. Taxi! Mumbai, please. Here in the bustling streets of India, drivers contend with the blistering heat, often up to 40 degrees, which for an engine means that running smoothly is quite a challenge. Sergio, how exactly are you doing that?
Mind power. Whoops.
Taxi! America, please. In the Big Apple, automobiles also have to contend with the constant stop-start of the traffic.
Give me a break, man. I'm driving here.
Just doing my job, son.
Is that your best American accent, Jensen? It's hot dogs. Get your hot dogs right here.
Why don't you take your hot dog?
Thank you, chaps. The point is, across the world there are many different conditions to drive in, but there is only one motor oil which delivers high-end performance in them all. Mobil 1. Good gracious, I've forgotten China. Taxi! A lot of people say to me, Professor, what really goes on inside an engine? Well, today I'm going to answer this fascinating question. As ever, I have three luminaries of the scientific world to assist me in investigating the joys of lubrication.
Joys of lubrication?
Do try to take this seriously, gentlemen. Using this rather clever technique we've devised, we're literally going to take a look inside an engine to see how it and its lubrication system works. Here we have the piston and rod, which is very much the engine room of the, engine. Notice how the lubricant allows it to move at incredible speeds.
Been a while since I've been to a rodeo. This could be fun.
With the correct lubrication, such as Mobil 1, a piston like this can be fired over 3,000 times a minute. Woohoo! Yes, it is rather impressive, isn't it, Tony? Oh, good heavens. Gentlemen, can we at least try to behave like scientists? Now, over here we have the oil sump, which is a sort of reservoir, or bath, if you like, in which the Mobil 1 collects...
How'd you turn the bubbles on, then?
For goodness sake, Jensen, this is scientific equipment.
He's pulled the plug on you, man.
Ah!
Jensen!
Right, let's move on to the valve springs. Mobil 1 not only lubricates, but also cools the valve springs, resulting in...
Hey, these are cool.
Mr. Perez, please remove yourself from that spring. Well, I suppose now we've demonstrated how the constituent parts work, we should see how the engine functions as a unit. Oh dear.
So, Prof, tell us, what is it like inside an engine?
Do you really think that's fitting behavior for a scientist?
Chaps? Not going to leave me, are you? Are you? Oh dear. Well, we've reached the end of our exploration of the wonderful world of oil. So let's recap on what we've learnt. Look, I've read some of the comments online. I'm aware that people see me as a bit of a dry old stick. That's why today I've put something together which I think will change people's opinion of me. Neville, kick it. It's chemically formulated in laboratories, a scientific marvel of synthetic lubrication. It reduces carbon buildup and improves your fuel economy, as shown by this simple equation. It operates superbly in a range of conditions in Russia, China, India and Mexico. In the snow or in the sunshine, in the country or the city, it will keep your engine on the go. Yo! Mobil 1, put it in your engine. Mobil 1, the oil for you. Mobil 1, keeps things running smoothly. Mobil 1, it's a great lubricant. Oh dear, that's not very good. The Mobil 1 racing program is an R&D platform bringing race technology to drivers everywhere. So lubricate your pistons and grease up your valve springs.
With the lube of champions, oh yeah!
Mobil 1, put it in your engine. Mobil 1, the oil for you. Mobil 1, keeps things running smoothly. Mobil 1, really great lubrication. I don't think I'll get away with that. Synthetic lubrication. Synthetic lubrication. Across the nation. Well, I think I've answered my critics. Bye-bye.
Since the dawn of time, human progress has been accelerated by the application of technology. Machine working with man, all kept in motion through
lubrication. Ah, just the ticket. Perfect.
Oh, cool. Does that thing do soda cookies?
Good heavens, no. We're here to explain the benefits of the world's leading motor oil brand. Now, follow me. Soda cookies, indeed. Ridiculous. So, what is
Hey, Jensen, who's Mr. Keane?
Oh, that's Kevin Magnussen, McLaren's new kid on the grid.
Hey, slow down, man. No one's racing today.
Jeg prøver lige at fokusere.
It's alright. He's Danish. Never did like subtitles.
Now, what can you tell me about synthetic motor oil?
It's the choice of champions. Hey, Tony?
It's lousy for frying with?
Isn't it a mixture of base stocks with specifically tailored properties engineered at a molecular level for high-performance lubrication?
Not bad, Magnussen. I'm glad someone's grasped the basics. Well, why don't we take a look at some of that molecular engineering? Here we see an alkene with the carbon-carbon double bond between the number 1 and number 2 carbons in the molecule. An alkene like 1-hexene may be used as a co-monomer, or catalytically reacted to produce an alkyl-branched polymer. Although, of course, 1-octene, 1-decene, or 1-dodecene are more commonly used for low-viscosity base stocks. To create a high-performance lubricant, it's necessary to combine synthesized hydrocarbons with carefully selected compounds in an extremely delicate balance. Ah, glad to see you're all bonding. Let's have a closer look, shall we? Notice how the flexible alkyl branching groups result in lower contact surface area between the molecules. This means the oil can remain viscous in almost all conditions, keeping closely packed parts from rubbing together.
We could do some of that in here.
Dude, you're sitting on my hand.
That's my hand.
So how was Mobile 1 first formulated? To answer that question, we're going back to the past. Whoa! This year marks the 40th anniversary of the launch of Mobile 1. Back in 1974, the chaps at Mobile had been working on aviation lubricants. If a high-performance synthetic lubricant worked well in a jet engine, why not try it on other surfaces too? And so they formulated Mobile 1. Woo! Oh, for goodness sake.
Huh? Where are we now?
Planet Earth, Jensen.
Thought it looked familiar.
Ah, I can see my house from here.
Mobile 1 lubricants perform at extremes. For instance, temperature. From the highs of the tropics to the to the lows of the Arctic tundra. So how does Mobile 1 do that? Well,
can we maybe talk this over somewhere warmer?
With pleasure. Welcome to the engine! Mobile 1 lubricants offer superb protection against ash and other deposit formation in hot spots, which keeps your engine running like new!
Did you get any of that?
Huh? So what does this all mean? Well, it's simple. We can visualize all this data with these rather impressive infographics. Data we at McLaren have been using in our successful partnership with Mobile for 20 years.
Mobile 1.
Thank you, Lionel. Well, I think that pretty much explains the benefits of Mobile 1.
Prof, can't you say it a little more simply?
Yeah, something I can tweet. You know, 140 characters.
Ah, okay. Puzzle. Mobile 1 helps improve lubrication, works in extreme conditions, can help lengthen the life of your engine and increase horsepower and torque.
That was 141.
You mean this oil can make my car go fast?
Well, yes, of course. That's what I've been saying all along.
We get it. Time for a field test.
Oh, dear.
Whoa! I guess that's what you call number crunching. They have for vills. I'll tell you what, energy lives here.
That's quite enough of that.
Ouch.
Well, chaps, perhaps now you appreciate the value of good lubrication. Do forgive me. Mobile 1, the choice of champions. Now, what can you tell me about synthetic motor oil?
Isn't it a mixture of base stocks with specifically tailored properties engineered at a molecular level for high-performance lubrication?
This year in the Tooned Presents Mobile 1, we're going to have our regulars, Jensen Button and Tony Stewart, and of course Professor M, who will be giving us all the science. But we've also got a new character who's McLaren's new driver, Kevin Magnussen.
Who's Mr. Keen?
Oh, that's Kevin Magnussen, McLaren's new kid on the grid.
Creating a new character is always fun and tricky. It was fun last year creating Tony Stewart, for example, because in real life he's quite a larger-than-life character and he translates very well to an animated character. With Kevin, it was tricky coming in because we didn't really know much about Kevin because he's brand new young driver. Because at first we went with him quite young and bushy and naive, but as soon as we kind of got to know the character a bit more, we made him a bit more cool, a bit more knowing and intelligent. So that kind of reflects in his design as well and some of the expressions and attitudes.
We liked Kevin's kind of boyish face, but not too boyish. We like the fact that he's got a little, just a little nose and, the brow, and these are things that we just exaggerate a little bit.
We've always approached the look of Tooned as kind of these toy-like figures in a kind of, they're very cartoony, the wheels are bigger, and we have a lot of fun with proportions and scale.
From the start, it was also meant to be kind of a vinyl toy kind of feel, so kind of slightly glossy plastic, things like that, which is quite hard to kind of get the message across when you're drawing on paper. It could take quite a long time to make something kind of shiny and glossy, where in 3D it kind of comes kind of quite naturally, it's straight out of the box.
Glad to see you're all bonding. Let's have a closer look, shall we?
Once we have a script that everybody's happy with, then obviously we need to get the actors, and in this case the drivers, to record that script.
For Tony Stewart, we went to Charlotte, which is the home of NASCAR, where Henry did the voice records with him. And then we record Jensen and Kevin. We have this great big truck.
It's a great tool to have, that you can book that and practically take it anywhere to where the drivers are going to be.
So the guys can go straight from the simulator right into the back of the truck for the voice record.
In animation, everything really kind of comes from the performance. Obviously we need to kind of give them a sense of what's happening. They don't necessarily have anything to see, so that generally involves kind of acting out the story for them in front of them, trying to get a sense of, give them a sense of what it is that they're going to be involved in.
The first time we recorded the guys, they're a bit kind of, this is weird, but once they got into it, they really enjoyed it, and I think that was, they liked the scripts, I think they liked they saw their characters and they thought these guys look quite fun.
Where are we now?
Hopefully it's a bit of kind of comedy that they can, enjoy, almost like a break from their quite busy schedules.
Tony Stewart is, he's up for a laugh always. He's very experienced. He's really at the top of his sport, and he's got nothing to lose. Jensen he's also now getting very experienced at doing things like Tooned, and he can do, he'll do different things, he'll give us different options, and that is a mark of how confident he's got at doing this kind of thing.
Oh, that's Kevin Magnussen, McLaren's new kid on the grid.
Hey, slow down, man. No one's racing today.
Jeg prøver lige at fokusere.
Kevin, I would say he's surprisingly confident after an initial, I think the first time he opened his mouth, he kind of came out as a little bit of a squeak, but after that, almost immediately, he knew exactly what to do.
We could do with some of that in here.
Dude, you're sitting on my hand.
That's my hand?
We wrote some Danish lines for him in the script.
Det var 141.
Funny thing was that he looked at the script, he studied it for a while, and then he said, "Let me correct your Danish for you." And then he rewrote his lines for himself.
Never did like subtitles.
Because guys like Jensen and Tony are kind of almost regulars in this kind of thing, it's enjoyable to see them again and to get back into doing further recordings of Tooned. I think they have a good time doing it, and obviously the more they enjoy doing it, the better, the more that comes over in their performances.
You mean this oil can make my car go fast?
Well, yes, of course. That's what I've been saying all along.
The story of Tooned Presents Mobile 1 is about a professor trying to get inside lubricants and work, to explain exactly how they work, was travelling through a droplet of oil.
There was an amount of content that we had to be able to get across within the series, and obviously the challenge for us was to try and find a comical way to get that across with the characters that we had and make it entertaining as well as educational.
Prof, can't you say it a little more simply?
So the stories are generated really by thinking, what would Tony do, in this situation? What is it that the drivers would really want to know? What is it that excites them, when they're confronted with this technology?
So what does this all mean? Well, it's simple.
The way we can make that dynamic work really well is you have the professor. So he's delivering all of the straight stuff, and we can juxtapose that by having the drivers goofing around, playing off on that, interrupting him, so it's all character-based.
What we wanted to do in this series was to make what's quite often complex science and technology accessible, and therefore it's easier for people to understand what's going on and to get a broader knowledge whilst at the same time laughing.
Back in 1974, the chaps at Mobile had been working on aviation lubricants.
It's a testament to Mobile 1 how brilliant they have been and how brave they have been.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Apart from saying this is the information we need to convey, they were completely, you guys do it in the way that it needs to be done. You do it in the right character, you do it in the right voice. And the fact that, McLaren and Mobile 1 both recognised that and allowed it to be what it needed to be, I think is why people are responding well to it, because people are seeking it out, they're choosing to watch it.